And we're all right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to good GitLab Day, everyone. Welcome to Core Teams October um, monthly call. We did a short round of live update, and now we're starting with our regular topics. So the first topic is something, it's about governance, the core team governance. Um, so, so far we've been having a really good ratio in the core team in regard to the number of GitLab team members and non-GitLab team members. But some recent additions to the team, I think the ratio of GitLab team members having being increased. So I wanted to check with you all if that's something that we are all comfortable with, and we would like to we don't want to do anything about it, or we would like to try to approach new core team members and get them on board, which also touches on the how do we define inactive core team members and how we onboard inactive core team members. So first things first, ratio. It's not defined as far as I know. It's not. Last time I checked, it's not defined somewhere. We know the ratio of GitLab team members versus community members. So is it something that we'd like to or not? And how do we feel about onboarding other core team members if we want to?
So two things quickly, because obviously I'm the problem at hand, so to speak. Like, I'm more than happy either way. I think that my role is very similar in the contributor success team to what it is or has been on the core team anyway. So whether I step down to make those numbers a bit better or don't, I'm happy either way. So I'm sort of happy for us to kind of take a consensus, or maybe I'll even have a chat to my team to see if they've got any kind of view on it. But yeah, definitely we'll want to be onboarding more people moving forwards. How many people are in that funnel at the moment? I don't know, because I know we've been quite, I don't know if strict's exactly the right term, but we look for people that have very naturally been doing what we feel the core team do, rather than guiding people too much and having a strict kind of set of criteria. But I'm sure there's a few, although saying that, a few of the people that were also on track for it have also joined the GitLab team recently as well. So yeah, I'll shut up and see what everyone else thinks.
Let me just also mention that there's not a problem right now, and we started having this conversation when Rajendra joined GitLab like a year ago, but we never got around it. So I think it's not like something problematic that you need to step down or anything like that. I'm just saying that if we're all fine or not, and if we want to attract more people, that's it. And just for some metrics, 2, 4, 6, we're core team, it's for 12 people, and 2, 4, 5, 6, 8 right now are contributors. Cool. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. 13 because I'm also part of the core team. Sorry, Ben. Or Lee, I don't know.
I think there were two things I was going to mention. The first one was, I had a feeling we previously had something that stated 1 or 2 of the core team should be team members, and then I had a feeling we changed it to a third. Yep, there you go. George has beat me to it. So we have got something documented. If you said we're 4 and 8, then that's what we're actually bang on the number at the moment. So we're sort of all right. But I do sort of agree that from memory again, I'd have to double check the handbook page, the core team page, etc. But I have a feeling that the sort of ethos, the mission statement, whatever it was about sort of almost members of the wider community looking after the interests of the wider community. So, you know, there is a small part of me that thinks like we don't want too many team members, because as much as I like to say that we won't be biased and will uphold all of the, you know, we're going to have a different insight, a different view on the world, whatever you want to call it. So there is definitely something to be said for members of the wider community looking after the wider community, so to speak.
So I would, in general, agree. Like the page says 1/3. I think it probably should be 1/3 for the reasons that you just listed, Lee. Like any company can say that they did awesome things and that they're great, right? Like, you know, we're right. I mean, we have the words in the mission statement, which I don't know the exact ones right now, but to, you know, uphold the values of like, you know, hold GitLab somewhat accountable, right? But I would agree right now, right? Like we are at that ratio. You know, Christos, I would say you're kind of the facilitator here, maybe more so than necessarily like a direct member. I mean, you're at least not listed on the page. So I'm not sure if that's right or wrong, but you're currently not listed on the page.
Hello. Sorry, I'm already excited for Takuya. Been a while since the last time I see him. Hello. Just like to bring you up to speed. We're discussing about the first topic, about like ratio of core team, of the core team. And we're discussing about whether we would like to better document what would be the perfect ratio, and how would like to on the core team's handbook marketing page, it says 1/3 of the core team can be GitLab team members who help advocate for the community internally. My question is like, do we just like also it's the language is like can be, so it's like a bit vague. So it means that we can be more if we want. And the discussion is like about whether we keep like that or we start approaching other team members as well, other new core team members, because right now we're at 1/3.
Yeah, I would propose that we leave it alone. And I would say that we don't have an issue unless another person joins GitLab, in which case, you know, the logical solution might be look for another community person, more so than ask one of you to step down, which we should be always doing anyways. And
Yeah, agreed.
it's challenging.
If people are in favor of that, we can put a +1 on the topic 4A2 under. I can do it for you. So there's some consensus there. +1 everyone. So +1. So everyone is in favor of like leaving it alone for now, and if we see someone else joining in the future, we can like tackle it. I'm just like vocalizing Andrew's comments in the chat because he's in a really noisy environment. Better to have new members rather than asking established GitLab team members stepping down. That's for sure. That's true. But also, I think also it'd be nice to start actually continue thinking how we grow the core team if we want to, and attracting more people. Not just because he joined GitLab, but because it would be nice to have more voices, more people joining and bringing new perspectives. Cool. So
Yeah, I mean, I think there's there's like another interesting thing too on how active is everybody on the core team that's currently on the core team. We probably should be looking at that. Like, I don't know offhand, but I think the people that I see on the call right now are the people I hear from most.
Yeah, I have a feeling we go on.
No, go ahead.
We mentioned that at some point previously, because I know our stance has always been very much that once you kind of join the core team, you've kind of shown that you've got the right mindset, and you kind of there's no sort of requirement for commitment. So the key is more making sure that everyone's aware, like, don't feel obligated. If you want to step down, you can, but at the same time, if going through transitions, doing whatever, then that's cool. Come back when you're ready, sort of thing. So I'm not sure whether we actually came up with any plan, but maybe Christos, whether you just wanted to reach out to if there's any that we haven't heard from for a period of time, and just see how they're doing more than anything. I think that was previously the suggested approach. So it's more a sort of proactive thing, being like, hey, we need your seat for somebody else, because that's not really what it's about.
Yeah. And the thing is that also on the handbook, it's not like it's really voluntarily for people to step down. So not. And I mean, I think we don't have like specific guidelines in terms of like, oh, we have to be since we don't have terms, everything is voluntary. I mean, many people are stepping down by themselves, but when they want to, no one can force anyone. People can be inactive. I can start reaching out to people again. I had it in the past, but then again, for example, it's also a matter of defining that a bit, because I remember I talked to one core team member like a while ago, and I got hear back from them like a month afterwards. So what do you do in this case? It's been 1 month. Doesn't mean, and life happens. That's the thing. So for me, it's also important to be like, because it seems that there's nothing defined. For someone, a month would be a long time, for example, to hear back from someone. So someone would be like, okay, this person that is not interested in the head for a month, so we need to step them down. But then again, life happens, right? So, and we've seen that a lot in GitLab, that people go away, do stuff, and they come back and they're active, like they never left. So yeah, I would be in favor of at least framing it somehow, and that means inclusive of everything. As for example, how do we define? I have not heard for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I would think more sort of 3 to 6 months, that they've not you've just not kind of seen any MRs from them, or seen them around in Slack or on the monthly call or anything. And then, as I say, it's really just it's more a pleasantry for you reaching out, just seeing how they're doing. Again, if they don't reply to that, or if it takes them a month, absolutely means nothing at all. It's more if they come back to sort of say like, oh, I've moved somewhere or done something, or I've got a new job and I haven't really got any time anymore. And at which point you could have the conversation, more that they're offering up and sort of saying, I don't think I'm going to be able to kind of carry out this role anymore. In which case you say, oh, do you want to step down? But you're not really asking them. You're just seeing how they're doing more than anything. And if they sort of if they make the suggestion, then you discuss it rather than you being like, oh, we don't want you here anymore. That's not what it's about.
Anyone would like to add something? I mean, 6 months for me sounds like a reasonable time frame of no activity.
Yeah, I definitely think it should be months before we really nudge someone. Because I know there's like, there's some ones that like you could miss this call twice in like 2 months in a row, for example, right? And I mean, looking at the core team list, like there's some people who I could see are probably having some challenges at the moment, just based on things going on in the world.
I'm also kind of rethinking the original comment about team members being on the core team, because I'm not too sure what the benefits of that may or may not be. I suppose joining the call is quite good because we can kind of provide a sounding board or take actions away or whatever it might be. But in terms of being go-betweens, if that's the right word, and points of contact and that kind of thing, well, I kind of think that all team members are, like, everyone should be very happy to hear from the core team and help you guys out, us out in any way, shape or form that you need to be helped out. I guess it's the kind of presence on the core team and in the channel, maybe just to kind of be more proactively seeing how we can help. But at the same time, that's kind of my comment at the beginning. It doesn't really make any difference whether I'm on the core team or not. I'm always going to be here for you guys and for the wider community anyway. So yeah, like maybe that is something that we rethink. I think, Remy, maybe are you the kind of longest standing GitLab team member on the core team? Do you have any kind of views on what difference it makes to you being part of the core team, and if you would do things differently if you weren't, or would you still be just as available for us as you are now?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I see our role as GitLab team members is more about listening to the core team, but I agree that we are like everyone is listening to the core team. Maybe the difference is that we can be specific point of contacts for the core team. But yeah, in general, and the same for these meetings. I'm mostly listening, and I don't want to, influence any decision from the core team. So mostly getting just aware of what's discussed and the views from people in the core team. So yeah, I think I agree with you.
I guess the other change is that the contributor success team now exists. So maybe that almost does make a kind of wider audience, if that's the right term, or window or portal kind of bridge between the community and the GitLab team. So previously, I guess, Christos, you kind of had to look after the community entirely by yourself. and now perhaps there's the contributor success team as well. So it's just an idea. Like I say, I don't think I mind either way, but maybe if we do find that the ratios are a bit weird and a bit skewed, we could sort of say, well, you know, actually the core team is just going to be wider community members, but you've got not just Christos as a point of contact and escalation, etc., but the whole of the contributor success team. But it sounds like we don't feel the need to make any changes immediately. Yeah, it would be if another core team member converts, or if we lose a wider community member from the core team, perhaps then we just kind of need to reevaluate.
So, conscious of time, George, if you want to verbalize, or I can verbalize for you, two really good points. My question is like, do we want to take any of these recommendations into action? And George, I'll let you verbalize.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Just 2 points, as Chris mentioned. A good indicator is to just another metric, not just focusing on the contribution, as Ben said. It's like keeping an eye on the top contributors list and seeing if a core team member is absent there for more than a year or two. And, you know, that's a signal that maybe they're not active at all. And another is like introducing an inactive label that we can automatically attach after, you know, I don't know, a year of no contributions at all. And
Yeah, so I guess, Christos, I know we need to move forward. So I would probably suggest here we just leave it as is. We got the 1/3. We're at 1/3 right now. I would maybe encourage the GitLab folks to talk amongst yourself a bit on if you guys all make sense, or if there's some that are less involved with, you know, acting as stewards for the wider community and maybe don't make sense anymore, for example.
Sorry, I just want to verbalize. Ben, I agree and disagree at the same time. In a way that I would also personally would prefer to just like put something on the handbook in terms of like, hey, I mean, people can step down voluntarily, but at the same time, we should just like people who didn't have any activity in the past 6 months, like no MR, and not like about forcing them. It's more about like defining in a way what an activity is, because you know people have different standards. For example, for me, if I'm inactive for 1 month, I consider myself inactive, and I'll be like, what the hell am I doing on the core team? But again, this is something that we need to have consensus. And let me copy paste Marco's comment into the agenda.
Yeah, I mean, in one, so Marco, to your comment, we have the bot to help with some of that stuff now that we didn't have before. Like with the labels, for example.
And now we have Lee as well.
I was going to say, have we all been
Human
replaced
bot.
by a robot?
I don't know
Yeah,
about
the
that.
bot.
It only knows how to do certain things so far.
And also, MR coaches at the end of the day, like in terms of like labeling and assigning and putting people in touch with the right people, that's kind of a big part of what the MR coaches do. So yeah, it is a part of it, but again, that Marco is a problem that definitely the GitLab team are kind of working on, just spitballing ideas already about how we can our community members more.
All right, so just like I think we can park this conversation for now, and we all agree that we leave it as it is. We had a conversation. Oh, sorry, Lee's typing something.
Yeah, I was just going to put like if we haven't already got anything, which I had a feeling we maybe did have something. Say you can step down if you want, but maybe we just have these notes that we mentioned above, like that if we haven't heard from someone for a period of time, no activity, merge request, etc., then we'll reach out just to check in, and but keep it at that. Nothing to sort of say that there's any like, oh, if you don't do this, then we're gonna boot you off.
Yeah, no, I'm in favor of that. Just like putting something out there, but not like still leaving it voluntarily, not like enforcing it, but just like saying that, hey. All right, George, wanna lead us to the next topic?
Yeah, I just noticed I was also on mute. It's about the leading organizations. Maybe it's something, if you want to add something, Chris, here, because this falls under community relations too. It's a new initiative from GitLab. And yeah, maybe some of us are interested, or, I don't know, we can surface this more in the community, maybe in Discord, if anyone is interested. It's about like when someone's contributing from an organization and they want to be associated with GitLab somehow, right? Let me know if I'm misread that.
Yes. So, nice. I pushed an update. I rebased the contributor program handbook page yesterday, and apparently there is a dead link. Perfect, Christoph, perfect. I cannot share it right now. I moved everything under operations, which explains as like the better describes like there's a table with the contributor life cycles. So the leading organization, first of all, is a cross team effort that Liz Petrovsky is actually, I know, Andrew is on a really noisy environment because he had recently had a call with Liz. So it's crossing effort between the community relations teams and the contributor success team, and Liz leading it. It's an effort of enabling more organizations who are contributing to GitLab. And when I say organizations, right now the team is focusing a lot into customers or potential customers who are like having people who are contributing to GitLab. But eventually it's also, let's say, a layer of recognition within the GitLab community. The program is not fully developed yet, fully spin up yet, so there are not a lot of recognition mechanisms or a lot of benefits spinned up yet, but at some point we will have them. So correct me if I'm not mistaken, in order to qualify as a leading organization, and also individual people can be an organization, can fall under this recognition. You need to have, where is it? I'm gonna call the
20 merge requests.
Yes.
20 merge requests across 3 months, rolling months, is the criteria. So yeah, I think you mentioned there, Christos, that an individual can be a leading organization, but the kind of intention is more for it to be organizations, because that's a reasonably high number of contributions for an individual to sustain. And we want to be careful about kind of leading individuals to burnout sort of thing. Whereas if there's a team of 10 people for an organization with 1,000 seats that are contributing, it's reasonably easy to reach that number.
Right. So just real quick along those lines, like I know this program had a name change somewhere along the way. I can't remember what the last name of it was, but I do think this has the potential of turning off individual contributors, because like, oh, these companies are getting preferential treatment for their merge request, but I as a one individual contribute a ton too, but not quite that much, and I don't get preferential treatment. That could rub some individuals the wrong way, I think.
I think that's very valid. The main thing, I guess, it depends. If you're at that beginning of the 3 months, then that might be more likely to be the case, you know, that you're really trying to ramp up to try and hit that number. If you're further down the line, I think we do have quite a few mechanisms, right, with the MVP program, and obviously I'm sure our team, the core team, are going to be looking to you know, anyone that's consistently getting involved and showing the right approach and attitude, then we'll be kind of looking to see if they want to join the core team. So maybe what we need to think about coming up with, and we've got the Heroes program, I guess, as well. So that there's lots of programs, and maybe by kind of saying, oh, well, leading organizations.
Yeah,
go on.
The leading organizations is the only one I've seen that has like an SLA associated with it for like your merge requests.
Good point.
If I'm not mistaken.
Point. Yeah.
So that's the only thing. Like, I agree. Like the core team already has recognition, and the Heroes program already have recognition, but they don't quite have like one-to-one benefits.
Yeah.
And I think this is only, this is the only differentiator compared to other programs recognition mechanisms, because generally the idea behind the lead organizations is like to be a complementary program to the code contributor program, to the Heroes, to the core team. So it's not about spinning off a new program. It's more about like coming up with a structured way of trying to enable more contributions from organizations, individuals or not. I hear you. Right now, we're focusing more into the large organizations for sure. But the idea is not to drop any of the benefits or any of the like focus. For example, I'm not focusing only 5 or 10% of my time is focused on leading organizations. I'm still working with individual code contributors, and I will not.
Yeah, I mean, I totally get it, and I understand why. Like, if you're trying to significantly increase your number of contributors, and you can basically partner with other companies to help do that, right? That's a logical way to go about it. I'm just saying, as new benefits are come online for the leading organizations program, I think that we should be evaluating, you guys should be evaluating if those benefits should also be extended to the core team or the Heroes program.
Oh, that's great.
Because like
I hadn't thought about that. No, that's really good idea, Ben. Like, I think the concern was trying to commit to the SLA for the entire of the wider community might have been optimistic. And I think that it was a bit hazy how it was written in the handbook before. So just committing to that for leading organizations made sense. But like, if you're saying to add the core team and the Heroes programs, because they're also recognized, that seems like a really logical suggestion. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, anyway, obviously you guys, think through it, logistics, all that kind of stuff. Just I know when the rename happened, like for me personally, like it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. It was like, oh, like, because at one point I was addressed as whatever the past program was called. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, no, Ben, you're actually a leading organization. I was like, hold on a second. Why is my company getting the benefit for the work I'm doing on my own time?
Yeah, it was resident contributor before, and then yeah, went to leading organization.
Yeah, yeah. I personally like that title much better.
Makes sense. I guess I could see maybe the flip side if there was an organization that had a team that were spending their time during the working day.
Yeah, it's all good. Yeah. The Heroes
Organization
program
funding.
fills that. The Heroes program fills the need of the recognition for the individual. So anyway, you get my point. We can move on.
Absolutely, yeah.
But yeah.
Anyone else? Anything on the leading organizations?
But is there like any actions or anything here for us, or is this like just make sure we're all aware of this?
Well, I'll
Yeah.
already take your point forward, Ben, your suggestion about seeing if we can extend the SLA for core team and heroes, because that seems like, yeah, a bit of a no-brainer, to be honest. The biggest challenge is that we don't currently have a mechanism, to the best of my knowledge, to identify, or identify might be the wrong term, but I can't see if I get am asked to triage merge requests, I can't see which of them are from heroes or core team. Well, I should know, right, whether they're from core team members, but the
Yeah,
heroes.
obviously, more than no work would be necessary to enable it. So, probably, yeah, I get it.
But I don't think it's unachievable. All we need is a group on GitLab that we can add the people to, and there should be we can use the bot or whatever we want to do. So yeah, appreciate that suggestion. Thanks, Ben.
Right, conscious of time, I'm moving to the next topic. If there's nothing else, thanks all for your concerns. Sorry, Ben, you are muted. You wanted to?
No, good.
All right, cool. George added about the next hackathon date. So in regards to that, there are two dates. One is like it's the Thanksgiving week, 22nd to the 29th of November, and the other one is like 29th of November, the first week of December. I'm open to your thoughts. The only thing I would like to add is that I'm having a meeting with a technical writing team today because they expressed interest in having their own hackathon, which is gonna be like, the way that it's framed right now, it's from what I heard from the issues, is like they want to step down from being part of the quarterly hackathon in GitLab, because for them it's like a lot of focus, a lot of work, a lot of effort, and they would like to run their own hackathon, technical writing hackathon, which is going to be different dates. From one hand, this is a really nice thing because you have a technical writing hackathon. It's complementary to the other hackathons, so you keep the momentum, activity. That's great. But then again, we will need to remove from the awards of our quarterly hackathon the technical writing section, probably. So I'm having a conversation with them soon today to figure this out. Any thoughts on the dates about the hackathon? I don't know. What do you think about the 2 weeks, or generally the thought about from the technical writing? All right. So Discord. Discord. I'll be sharing later today a draft of strategy on how to start moving on to Discord. We started putting more focus on Discord. Discord started looking like a wait, we're recording it. So we've been having a conversation about the communication platform for quite a while. We want to put focus on Gitter is not working for any of us, and the community started moving to Discord. So then the logical step is like to move there as well. We use Slack as well, which doesn't fit our needs because of pricing policy for bringing community members. So Discord it is. So I will be sharing a draft strategy document on how to move from Gitter to Discord, or with everything like associated there. And I will be leading the work with legal and everything. But I will be sharing with you all to help me cover any missing points and see how we're gonna move forward with that. The timeline would be Q4 to complete the transition. But first, we need to have like check with legal and start moving people forward towards Discord, changing all the assets and everything. So yeah, I'll put a note in detail as well. There's on the agenda. Lee, want to go next?
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to mention it really quickly because conscious of time, but something that I've wanted to do for ages is organise an in-person event for contributing, and hopefully I'm getting an opportunity to do that either in December or January, probably in Belgium or the UK. Sorry, folks, a bit further afield, but if it's successful, then I'm sure it will go on tour. So, if anyone's interested in organising or coming along to that to help out, details are still very, very early stages, but just wanted to make you aware and see if you're interested in joining us. So linked an issue for now. And yeah, ping me up async if you're interested.
And with that, anyone would like to say anything before we sign off?
I guess I think there's other conversations to have about potential meetups, but I don't know if we can do those in a recorded setting.
Well, let me say I'm more than happy to stay for a few more minutes if Ben, there's something you'd like to discuss off the record. I can, let me put some notes here. All right, I think we're over time, so I'm gonna stop the recording now. That's a great way to stop the recording. Thank you all for joining live.